McWhorter Custom Rifles presents.
Perfect. Looks like the 45 XMLs are ready to go back to Illinois. Welcome back, folks. Denise and I this week are headed to our leases up in southern Illinois. We've killed some monsters up there in the past. We got some pretty good trail camera pictures. 45 XMLs ready, Zeiss scopes ready. We're on our way to Illinois.
Precision Hunting TV is brought to you by McWhorter Custom Rifles, Zeiss Hunting, Forge Carbon Stocks, Hornady Ammunition, Atlas Development Group, and Great Horizon Ranch.
All of you that have watched our show for a while know that Illinois has been really, really good to us. I've killed some really good bucks up there, and we've had a great time up there. I've gotten to hunt with my good lifelong friend Mike Servich up there, and it's just been an enjoyable experience for about 12 years now. The last 2 or 3 years, hunting in Illinois just has been very tough. I mean, we stick to a management plan. If they're not at least 5 years old, we're not going to shoot them. I've passed up high 60s, maybe even low 70s bucks before that we filmed and actually killed them later, or we filmed and they didn't make it and we didn't see them anymore, but we never shot deer up there unless they were at least 5 years old. Things have kind of changed on us. Some of the properties that have joined us have changed hands, and let's just say the new neighbors might have management practices that are less than our standards.
I'd only hunted Illinois one other time, and I was unsuccessful. I've been up a whole bunch of times, helped take Allan back and forth to the blind, tried to film some for him, spent a lot of time up there, but just haven't spent time hunting myself. This is my year to get to go to Illinois and hunt, and I'm super pumped. I'm hunting a separate property all by myself, and we've got some awesome bucks on trail camera. This new property is about 240 acres. About 50 acres of it is soybeans, and as you know, bucks love the soybeans. There's nothing around close to us that has standing crop after the first season, so it ought to be good. I'm glued to the Reveal Tacticam trail cameras, watching them day and night. There's one particular buck that I'm looking for. He's a gorgeous 9-point, really tall. He just grabs my attention when he looks at the camera. Second season in Illinois, and we've got our editor and camera guy Russell with us, and thank goodness we did. We're about to have a really big drop in temperatures. The weatherman's telling us it's gonna go down to 10, 11 degrees. And buddy, I started preparing. I don't like to get super cold. We opened up the hardware store that morning and went in and got a buddy heater and fuel canisters. Allan thought I was nuts, but I didn't want to sit out there and freeze, and neither did Russell. Well, it's the second season here in Illinois. We're right back where we were a couple of weekends ago, hunting the same area. Our buck is still showing up, and it's about 12 degrees right now, and it's going down to 10 degrees, I think, around 8 o'clock this morning. So it bites pretty hard when you step outside. But we're gonna give it a go. I've got Allan in his stand, and he's got on everything
that he brought to try to stay warm, and I'm kind of in the same situation. We're going to try to stay warm out there for a few hours, and hopefully our buck that we've been hunting is going to show up.
Russell and I are sitting in the blind. We're pretty toasty with that heater. I'm real proud we have it. The sun gets up a little bit and I look out and I'm like, Russell, take a look at this buck. And he looked. He couldn't see the buck that I was looking at because of the partition between the windows. But when he did get a look at him, he said, Miss Denise, that's him.
This segment is brought to you by Board and Accuracy, makers of the most accurate custom hunting actions on the market. Manufactured in the USA to true bench rest tolerances. Board and Accuracy equals success.
The sun starts to come up and I see a buck out there that really got my attention. Russell couldn't see him because of where the partition was, but once he got a look at him, he knew that was him. He said, Miss Denise, get your muzzleloader, let's go. So I had to ease the window up because we had everything closed up, had the ozonics going, trying to keep our scent down. Deer were really close, but we managed to get the blind up. I got the 45 XML out the window. I had to keep my hands warm because once you put any skin on the outside of that blind, it hurt pretty bad.
All right, he looks pretty content. I'm gonna let him turn before. I'm gonna try to let him get broadside.
My buck is standing out there chewing on soybeans. He's quartered to me. Russell's on him. The light is beautiful. He said, whenever you're ready.
Good shot, Denise.
Holy moly, that was so fast. Oh my gosh. It's 10 degrees this morning. And I had my glove off and I'm holding my hand up on the scope and it was so cold my fingers were freezing to it.
I pulled the trigger on the 45 XML. He folded, he disappeared in the beans.
There he is. He's laying out here. Can still see his antlers. I think my blood is freezing. Oh my gosh, look at this thing. Look at that. That's an old fella right there. Man. All right, season 2 here in Illinois. It was a tough season last year. Allan and I both hunted all 3 seasons up here in Illinois, and neither one of us saw a mature buck. And this is the 2nd season here in Illinois for this year. And the first morning of the season, believe it or not. And 12 degrees out here. We were pretty cold. Thank the Lord for a buddy heater, because went to the hardware store yesterday here in Rushville and got us a buddy heater, so we weren't feeling too bad. But sun came up And this fella I've been watching on trail camera all year is just standing out here in the beans. We're still not real sure what angle he came in from, but thank the sweet Lord, he was standing there and could see these big light antlers out here in these beans. He was munching on these beans. We got about 4 acres of beans out here that we had the farmer leave standing, and they were actually too tall the first season, and it snowed real good in the last couple of weeks and knocked these beans down a good bit. A lot easier to see. And first daylight picture, we didn't even have a picture of him, but he had not shown himself except on trail camera until this morning in the pretty sunlight coming up. So thankful. 45 XML, McWhorter 45 XML has put a hurting on him. He just went straight down. Folded like a lawn chair. That's my new term that Russell gave me. Never took a step.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by McWhorter True Precision Long Range Hunting and Shooting School, Leo Photo USA, Brux Barrels, Trigger Tech, Hawkins Precision, and Borden Accuracy.
First day, Denise kills a really good deer on the new spot. I'm just elated. That was the Thursday of the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday season of the second Illinois season. As the second season wore on, I saw multiple deer. I think one afternoon we had 7 acres of a cornfield there. I think I saw 60 some odd deer. Not a deer over 135 inches and no mature deer whatsoever. I was starting to get pretty down and decided that I had seen a really big old mature 8-pointer that I think was 8.5 years old. I had seen him several years prior. He was showing up pretty much every day, so I decided that I wanted to take him in the hopes that eliminating that big mature dominant buck might let one of these other shooters show up. Welcome back, folks, to this week's True Precision Tip of the Week, brought to you by Allan and John. And today we're going to talk about how having a highly accurate shooting system can really help your hunting.
Mr. John, what's the best way to utilize owning a long-range precision rifle, and what's the best way that really maximizes its performance?
Well, one of the reasons I got into rifles way back in the day was I was just a really serious hunter. And before that, you know, I just had the average rifles that I felt comfortable with out to, 200 yards. So you'd have to set up your deer hunting blinds accordingly. If you were hunting a big field, then, you'd have to put it closer to a bedding area than you might want to just so you could get a shot. I mean, I see guys all the time that have blinds out in the middle of a field so they're closer to every edge of the field. And that's all fine and dandy if you think you can't shoot further than that. But to get into that blind in the mornings amongst deer and to get out of that blind is impossible. So
let's say you have a field that's 400 yards by 400 yards.
Just a square field.
Just a big square field.
Got bedding area on 3 sides and you got one side.
Yeah.
So my idea, if you got a field and you got a northwest wind, to go to the southeast corner, put a blind in that very corner.
Yep. So
then you don't have a shot across both edges. You got a 400-yard shot. If you triangulate that all the way to the other corner, it's 565. So if you've got a highly accurate rifle, you've had a little training, you know how to get steady in the blind, you don't have any problem with that shot. And you can slip in the back of that blind and slip out with never being detected. You can hunt it multiple times, where all these other blinds that are compromised and put on one side of the field or in the middle of the field, they're a one hunt wonder, because you're going to blow all the deer out of the field when you get out at night. So
going in and out of a center laid field like that, you're going to bump deer. There's just no way around it.
Ever since we've had access to rifles like these and learn how to shoot long range, we've been able to set up our blinds in a whole lot better positions and not worried about the long shots, because you can make them. So We killed a whole bunch of big whitetails that we probably wouldn't have killed if we'd had a 200-yard gun like a lot of the factory guns and some of the other guns that are made. So long-range guns, that's the reason that I got into the business, because I'm a serious hunter, and that's what we do. And that's your tip of the week, brought to you by Allan and John and McWhorter Custom Rifles.
Precision Hunting TV is also brought to you by Armageddon Gear, Mesquite Creek Taxidermy, Hell's Canyon Barrels, Gun Foam, Boyd Harness Company, and Metal Spinning Targets. This segment is brought to you by Atlas Development Group, makers of the finest premium rifle cartridge cases on the market. Proudly made in the USA. Our stringent manufacturing process and raw materials yield superior results.
Well, it's the last day in second Illinois firearm season. This was a 4-day season. The first one was 3 days, and Denise killed her buck on the first day on another farm. And I've seen quite a few deer. I just hadn't seen one of our shooters. Really hadn't seen but one mature deer, and he was a big cull of an 8-pointer that's probably 7 or 8 years old. And it's not out of the question to shoot him possibly, because then you can still shoot another deer during muzzleloader season. But the weather's just turned crazy warm. It's 62 degrees at 2 o'clock today. So here we go, last night, and if we don't get it done today, then gonna make a quick trip home and turn right back around and come back up here, and gotta be in Texas 2 days after that, so 18-hour drive down there. So our schedule's full for the next couple of weeks, but hopefully one of these big Illinois bruisers will show up today so I can stay up all night KPing them out. Here we go, last day in Illinois.
The last day, it's a Sunday, the last day of the 4-day second season. This buck appears, and he's beat to pieces. I mean, he's skint from the middle of his back to his rear end on one side. His ears are all shredded where he's been fighting. And after a while, I got some good footage of him, and he finally presented me a broadside shot at about 150 yards.
Well, folks, that's the end of the firearm season for us up here, and we shoot the 45 XML during the firearm season, so just got a lot more range than all the other cartridges, 350 Legend and 450 Bushmaster and 444 Marlin. And as you can see, it did the job on that big 8.5-year-old buck.
Looks like a steer. Now this is a real bully. Look at the ears. The ears are all just torn and shredded from fighting. Other ear all torn. And this buck is just, I know this buck, I've seen him for 3 or 4 years now, and even when he was a 4-year-old, he'd come in the field with an attitude and just push other bucks around. And my thinking on this, on the last day of this second firearm season, was to get this buck out of here, because maybe he's keeping my target buck from showing up. So their home ranges probably overlapping a little bit, and this big food source here, maybe he's keeping him out of there. So decided to take him on this last evening, and he's a trophy buck. I mean, he's not got huge antlers, but he's anytime you kill an 8.5-year-old whitetail, you've had quite the accomplishment. So just 45 XML's been waiting patiently, and got a Brooks barrel, boarding action, got the new Zeiss 2.8 20 by 56. Made a good shot, hit him right there, went through, didn't exit. So that he absorbed all the energy, and he didn't run but about 30 yards. So what a great hunt. Denise tagged out on the first day. I'm always the last day guy, so thank you, Lord Jesus, for letting me hunt these magnificent animals. This 8.5-year-old buck is quite the trophy. Illinois has been one of the best places I've ever hunted. Killed some of the biggest bucks of my life up there. I was glad to see Denise finally experience the thrill that Illinois can give you. We can't wait to go back this coming year. We're hoping that we'll find a good shooter in the off season, but you never know until you know.